Okay guys, so now it's time to build our piss simulator. Yes, so this is what the piss simulator will look like. I made a quick mock-up of how we will be making our app and what it would look like. So you can see that we would have gradient as background, not just a simple color. So we will learn how to do that. Also, we will use this button and we will use this button to play or pause the piss sound. It's weird to even say, I know. So let's quickly start building our app. So let's go to VS Code, press Ctrl Shift P and create a new Flutter project. Now we will be making an application. Here in the Flutter projects, you can see that where I saved my first app previously, it's opening that folder again. So I will just select this folder to create the project in, and I will name my app piss underscore sim. Okay, I forgot the spelling of simulator, so I will give this. Anyways, press enter and the Flutter will do the magic for you. Okay, it will automatically run its extension and create an app for you guys. So let's wait till Flutter actually creates our app. So by default, you will see that it creates these folders. Also, this main.dart file is same every single time because this is the boilerplate code. So what we would do is just remove everything that is here. Okay, so let's quickly remove, or let's keep the first class and remove everything else. Let's remove this. Let's remove this docs because we don't need that. Let's also remove theme because theme, we don't need to use theme right now. And for the home, let's remove this title inside and we are done. Okay, last thing you want to do is debug checker. Remember, so right now my app is analyzing. You can see that Visual Studio Code is analyzing my code, so it will take a while till it analyzes. And the moment you see that this little text goes away, this means that VS Code has analyzed our code, and only after completely analyzing our code, Visual Studio will give us recommendations. Right now, if I write show debug checker, you can see that nothing is coming. But once it has analyzed, then only it will give us recommendations. So now you can see that the code is analyzed. Let me write here show, and you can see that debug checker show mode. Yeah, I'm not going to read that. And I can just do here false. And the reason why I'm getting an error here is because this file does not exist. So first let's make a home.dart file. Okay, so let's go to lib, select the folder and create a new file here by the name home.dart. Okay, now let's quickly copy paste this line because this what basically does is this imports all the features of Flutter in this file. And now all we need to do is create a stateful widget. Now why we are creating a stateful widget? Because we will be playing and pausing. So for that reason, we will be using a stateful widget. Okay, so let's give it the name as home page. Save it. And then here, just change the name to right here, home page, and Flutter will automatically import. If it does not import this package, you can just write import package, name of your application slash name of the file, and it will import everything that is in this file here. Okay, lastly, you are getting these blue lines because we need to add a constant modifier. You can look at the problems here that constant constructor is needed, so you can just write constant here and we are done. So let's remove container and add here a scaffold. Okay, and let's give it a body, and in the body we will add a container. So yes, using app bar every single time is not necessary. We can directly use a body or whatever you want, a button or something. Okay, so now let's quickly open a simulator and then we will run our application and see how it is looking like. So guys, you can see that the emulator is now open. So by the time this emulator loads, I want to tell you guys one thing. Now the app that we will be making is really easy in itself, but the logic that we will be implementing might get a little bit confusing because it is lengthy. Okay, so if there is any part that you guys do not understand, just try to watch it again. Take 2 deep breaths and then watch it again, clear your mind, and you will easily be able to understand it. Trust me, it's not that hard. Okay, so we want our app to look like this, right? So what is going on here is, first there is one container, this container that you can see, which has the gradient color yellow and orange. Okay, then on top of container there are these 4 widgets. One is the text widget, second is the text widget again, then there is this image widget, and finally there is this button, and on button there is another widget called text. So we will be using this logic and we will be basically making the UI in this video. Okay, so let's quickly start building. Here right now you can see that my emulator is loaded. So before making any changes, let me first run the application. This will make my life so much easier, because right now once I make every single change, I will know if there is any problem. But if I write my entire code and then I try to run it, and then if I get any problems, then it will be hard for me to analyze where did I get a problem. Okay, so try to run your project as soon as possible. Okay guys, so now our app is loaded and you can see that it's plain as I won't say it, don't worry. So now what's happening here is, as I already told you, that there are 4 widgets on top of this widget, right? So what we will do is, first let's give it a color. Okay, so I want to give this a color, and okay, now what was that? And the color should be colors dot yellow. Okay, and I will save. You can see that it's analyzing my code and now it's done. Okay, so you will not enter a semicolon, be sure about that. Okay, add a comma, save. So now you can see that the entire app is now yellow, but we wanted gradient, right? So to use gradient, there is a property within container called decoration, and within decoration there is a widget called box decoration. Okay, and within box decoration you can see that there are these different properties of border radius. With border radius you can basically curve the edges of your container and make it look more realistic, more modernistic. And here is the gradient. One thing you need to remember, when you use a decoration property, you cannot use a gradient property with it. So let me show you what I mean. I will add here gradient first, and okay, let's not add gradient first, let's keep it like this. Okay, and now if I save, you can see that I get an error. So what this error is saying, that cannot provide both a color and a decoration, which means that if you have mentioned the decoration property, you cannot use the color property. You need to use this color property now inside decoration. Okay, so now I can use the color property, and because my app just hanged there, I need to hot restart. So this green button is hot restart and this is hot preload. Whenever your app gives an error, like this kind of error, and you will see here in the variables in run and debug section. So in that case, you always need to restart your app. So this is hot restart. You don't have to stop and then start. You just need to hot restart. Okay, and you will see that here I can see now that restart application. What this is basically, this is showing the previous error. Okay, and restart application in restarted. Okay, so now I am again getting these curvy lines. This is because I had to add your constant keyword, but right now won't be adding constant, and you will see why. So let's remove this color property and let's add gradient. Okay, it's because that's what we want to do here. Now with gradient, there are different kind of gradient widgets that allow you to color. So one of them is linear gradient, which we will be using right now. You can see that there is linear gradient. Okay, and it takes colors. Like a row takes children, this linear gradient takes colors. And maybe you remember that in rows, all the widgets that you add, they are mentioned in these square brackets, right? Similarly, in linear gradient, all the colors that you will add will be mentioned in this square bracket. So what I will do here is I will just mention colors dot, let's give it yellow first, and next I want to add orange. Okay, colors dot orange. So let me save this, and you can see that now I have colored my screen yellow and orange as well, right? So now there is another property called radial gradient, and let me add that. And let me save my file. Now you can see that I added radial gradient. Yellow is yellow is the first color that is appearing, and orange is the second. And you can add multiple colors here. Like I can also add colors dot red. So with colors dot red, it will give me red, orange, and yellow. Let's do linear gradient only right now. Linear. And let me add the constant keyword first. Let's save it. So here you can see yellow, orange, red. Now if you want, you can keep all of them, right? And there's one more interesting thing that you can do with this, which is you can mention the stops. Like where should it stop? So let's see. Comma stops. So make sure that you are mentioning the stops within this linear gradient bracket. So you will be entering comma after the square brackets, comma stops. Okay, and stops also takes the number of colors you have, the number of stops parameter you will have. So let's add 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's see what happens. So here you can see that the entire screen turned yellow. So this is not something that we wanted to do, right? So what we will do is we will give each color 0.3, 0.3, and also 0.3. Now let's save and see what happens. So here you can see that it gives proper colors to it, and we don't want this. So we will just remove this stops, because I think that our app was looking way better when it had no stops. So I think that we are missing a bracket, and yes, we are done. And here you can see that our app is now looking beautiful.